Every month you earn money. But does that money work for you, or does it quietly work against you? My friend, most people never ask that question. They earn, they spend, they wonder why nothing changes. This video will change the question you ask every time you open your wallet. Stay until the end. The final lesson is the one nobody says out loud. This is English Stories Studio, real lessons about real life, in clear English you can follow. I learned this sitting in a car I could not really afford, in a parking lot outside a mall, buying things to look like the person I was trying to become. I did not understand it then. I understand it now. That day cost me more than money. My friend, if you work hard every month and still feel like you are moving in a circle, I want you to know something. You are not lazy. You are not unlucky. You were simply never taught the difference between two things that look almost identical from the outside. One thing makes you richer while you sleep. The other makes you poorer while you smile. We call them assets and liabilities. That is not complicated language. That is the only financial idea you truly need to understand. Because once you see it clearly, you will never look at a purchase the same way again. In this video, we are going to move through 3 stages together. First, we hold up a mirror. You will see your own financial life in it, and that will feel uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is honest. Then we walk into the fire. The ideas that burn will be the ones that were never true. What remains will be stronger. Finally, we arrive at the door. It was there the whole time. You just needed to know which one to open. Stay until the end. What I save for last is the hardest truth, and also the most useful one. Her name is Aisha. She is 33 years old. She is a nurse in Nairobi. Every morning she is out the door before 6. 12-hour shifts, sometimes longer. She gives medication to people who are afraid. She holds the hand of someone who has no one else in the room. She is calm when others are not. She is good at this work, and the people around her know it. At the end of every month, her salary arrives. Within 2 weeks, most of it is gone. Rent, matatu fare, her phone plan, her brother's school fees, small things. Things that felt necessary at the time. She has a savings app on her phone. She opened it with good intentions 14 months ago. The balance has not changed in 4 months. Every morning, Aisha tells herself this month will be different, but the feeling underneath that thought is not hope. It is something quieter than that. A low, familiar tiredness. She does not think of herself as bad with money. She thinks of herself as someone who simply does not have enough of it yet. I know this person. I was this person. I just had a different city, a different salary, and the same empty account. My friend, before we name any lesson, look at Aisha. See if you recognize something. Lesson 1. What is an asset? Really, an asset is not a thing you own. It is a thing that sends money to you, even when you are not working. That is the whole idea. Everything else is detail. Most of us grew up hearing the word asset connected to ownership. A house is an asset. A car is an asset. Your phone is an asset. We heard this and we believed it because the people saying it believed it too. But ownership and income are not the same thing, not even close. Think about a mirror. A mirror shows you what is there, not what you want to be there. This lesson is that mirror. An asset in the real sense is something that produces. It generates. It puts money into your pocket, whether you wake up at 5 in the morning or whether you are sick in the hospital bed. It does not need your presence. It does not need your energy. It moves on its own. A rental property that earns income every month. A small business that operates without you. A piece of land being farmed by someone else. A skill turned into a course. These are assets, they work. You do not have to. Now hold that definition and look at what most people call their assets. The phone on the table, the furniture in the room, the car outside. These things have value, yes. But do they send money? Do they put anything into your account at the end of the month? Or do they ask for more? This is not a comfortable question. It was not comfortable for me. I spent years collecting things I was proud of. I gave them the name assets because I needed them to be assets. They were not. They were weight I had chosen to carry and had convinced myself was strength. Nobody taught me that distinction early. I paid for that gap later. Aisha opens her phone on a Tuesday evening just before sleep. She scrolls through photos from the weekend. Her niece's birthday. A lunch with a colleague. She has 3,400 photos on this phone. It is fast, it is beautiful, and it still has 11 months of installment payments remaining. She does not think of it as a cost. She thinks of it as hers. But it is not sending her money. It is not growing anything. It is asking for something every month. Quietly. Automatically. Aisha almost puts the phone down and opens her savings app. She almost does. Then a message arrives, and the moment passes. That phone is not an asset. It never was. Tonight, take 5 minutes. Write down 3 things you own. Not everything. Just 3. Then ask one honest question about each. Does this thing send me money, or does it cost me money? Do not skip this because it feels too simple. Simple is where most people stop. Write it down. On paper, not in your phone. That is the first step. Lesson 2. What is a liability? Really, a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Even the things you're proud of. That last part is the one that stings. We do not buy liabilities because we are foolish. We buy them because they feel like progress. A new phone feels like you have arrived. A car with good seats feels like reward. A bigger apartment feels like a statement about where you are going. These feelings are real. I am not telling you the feelings are wrong. But a liability does not care how proud it makes you. It takes from you every month automatically, whether you are proud or embarrassed, whether you use it or not, the clothing in the back of your wardrobe, the subscription you forgot to cancel, the car loan paid every month for a car that loses value every year, the television bought on credit in a room you barely sit in. These are liabilities. They have one job: to leave your account smaller than it was before. Here's what nobody says clearly enough. The system is not designed to help you build. It is designed to sell. Banks, shops, advertisements, your colleagues, the culture around you. Every direction you look, something is being offered. And almost all of it takes money out, not puts money in. The language is always positive. Upgrade. Invest in yourself. You deserve this. Treat yourself. I used that language. I said those words to myself in a showroom once, standing next to a car. I had no real business buying. I told myself it was a reward for hard work. It was a liability wearing a bow. I know exactly what that thinking costs. Not just in money. In years. Aisha's phone, again. She upgraded it last year when the new model came out. Her old phone worked. It was slow, yes, but it worked. The new one was faster, sharper, and came with a payment plan that felt small enough to ignore. 14 months later, she still pays for it every month. She has not once thought of that payment as a monthly cost she agreed to. She thinks of it as the phone being hers. But it is not fully hers yet, and even when it is, it will be asking for repairs, for accessories, for the next upgrade. Aisha is a kind, intelligent woman. She did not buy this phone carelessly. She bought it because it felt necessary. That is exactly how liabilities survive. Look at your biggest monthly expense that is not food or rent. Just one. Write it down. Then ask 2 questions. Is this building anything? Is this earning anything? If the answer to both is no, you do not need to cancel it today. But you need to see it clearly for what it is. Seeing it is the action. Do not skip that, because nothing happened yet. Lesson 3. The trap most people never see. Most people spend their whole lives buying liabilities. They call them assets, and the world around them agrees. This is not a mistake made by people who are uninformed. This is a trap built for everyone. Educated people fall into it. Hardworking people fall into it. People who read books about money fall into it, including me, for longer than I want to admit. Robert Kiyosaki wrote about his own father, a highly educated man who worked hard his whole life and retired with very little. Not because he was lazy, not because he was irresponsible, but because no one taught him the difference between what grows money and what drains it. He spent his life acquiring things that cost him quietly, consistently, month after month. He called it living well. The numbers called it something else. The mirror in this phase is not flattering. I know. Look at the moment Aisha bought her motorbike. Her colleagues congratulated her. People at the hospital said she was moving forward. She felt it. The pride was real. But that motorbike requires fuel. It requires repairs. It required a loan she is still finishing. Every month it takes something from her. The progress was a feeling. The cost is a number. I have seen this pattern in my own life. I have bought things that the people around me celebrated. Cars, upgrades, objects that said something about where I was going. And every single one of those things was quietly extracting money from the future I was trying to build. Progress that costs you money every month is not progress. It is a habit wearing the clothes of success. And the trap is this. The people around you will often not help you see it because they are in the same trap. Write down the last 3 things you bought that felt like a step forward. A real step. Something that made you feel like you were getting somewhere. Mark each one. Asset or liability. Use what you know now. Do not argue with yourself. Do not negotiate. Just mark them honestly. That list is the most important thing you will write this month. Stop. Before we continue, look at your own list, not someone else's. Yours. How many of the things you are proud of are actually taking money from you every month? Sit with that for a moment. Not to feel bad, to feel clear. There is a difference. Feeling bad keeps you still. Feeling clear moves you forward. The next part of this video goes deeper. We are going to look at the things most people believe are building their wealth. A house, a car, the things they were told to aim for, and we are going to ask an honest question about each one. In the next part, we go deeper. Stay with me. The first 3 lessons showed you a mirror. You saw your financial life clearly, maybe for the first time. That is not a comfortable feeling. It is not supposed to be. Now we move into the fire. The fire does not destroy what is real. It destroys what only looked real. What survives this part of the video will be stronger than anything you had before. But we have to walk through it first. Lesson 4. Your house is not always an asset. A home you live in is not automatically an asset. If it costs you money every month, it is a liability, until the day it earns more than it costs. That is what it is. This is the lesson that makes people angry. I understand that anger. I felt it too. We are told from childhood that owning a home is the goal. It is the symbol of arrival. It means you made it. In many cultures, it is the thing a parent prays for on behalf of their child. Buy land, build a house. That is how you secure your future. I heard this. I believed it. I repeated it. But here is what that belief skips over. A house you live in requires a mortgage or rent payment. It requires rates, water, electricity, repairs, insurance. Some of these costs are visible. Many are not. The roof that needs fixing after 3 years, the pipes, the paint, the gate motor. Each one arrives quietly with a number attached. Now ask the honest question. Does that house send money to your account every month? Does it pay you, or does it take from you consistently every month, regardless of what else is happening in your life? This is where the fire starts. Not because owning a home is wrong, but because buying a home without understanding this question is dangerous. I have seen people stretch every resource they had to buy a home, feel proud for 6 months, and then spend the next 15 years financially frozen. They could not invest. They could not save. They could not take one risk. Because the house was consuming everything. A house that earns income is an asset. A house that only costs is a liability. These are two completely different things wearing the same name. Renting is not failure. I need to say that clearly. Renting while you save, while you build, while you ask better questions, is not shameful. It is a strategy. What is dangerous is buying without understanding what you are buying. Aisha has always felt a small shame about renting. Her colleagues own. Some of them bought land outside the city. One of them built a house with her husband 3 years ago. Aisha listens to these conversations and feels left behind. But on a quiet Thursday morning, between 2 shifts, she does a small calculation on the back of a patient form. She writes down what her colleague pays every month for that house. Mortgage, water, electricity, security. She adds the repair her colleague mentioned last week. The number is large. Larger than Aisha's rent by a significant amount. Aisha almost says something. Then she folds the paper and puts it in her pocket. She does not say the house is a mistake. She is not sure yet. But for the first time, she stops feeling behind. If you own a home, calculate what it truly costs every month. Include every cost, not just the mortgage, repairs, insurance, rates, all of it. Write the full number. If you rent, stop the shame. Start a different question instead. Write down this sentence. What am I doing with what I save by not owning yet? That question is worth more than the shame ever was. A few evenings after those first lessons, Aisha sits at her kitchen table with a notebook. A plain one. The kind she uses for shift notes at work. She opens it to a clean page and writes one word at the top. Assets. She starts listing what she owns. Her phone, her motorbike, her television, a small set of kitchen appliances, her savings balance which is not moved. She tries to mark each one, asset or liability. She expects to feel organized when she is done. Instead, she feels something worse. Almost everything on the list has a cost attached. The phone with its installments, the motorbike with its fuel and repairs, and the loan she is still finishing, the television she bought on credit 2 years ago, which is now fully paid but earns nothing and slowly loses value. She stares at the page. Then she remembers something she had not thought about in months. Her father's land, a small plot outside the city, left to her when he died. She had done nothing with it. She had not even visited it in over a year. She had not written it on the list because, in her mind, it was not really something she used. But it was the only thing on that list that had no cost attached. I know this moment. I lived a version of it, sitting with a list that told me the truth I had been avoiding. It is not a pleasant feeling. It is an honest one, and honest is the only place real things begin. She sits with the notebook open and thinks of her father. He never sat her down and explained money. He never used words like assets or liabilities, but he left her land. He left her something that could grow without her working for it. Maybe, she thinks, he understood something she is only now beginning to see. Nothing in that notebook is an accident. and neither is the question she is finally asking. This is the moment most people close the video, because this is where it stops feeling good and starts feeling true. Stay with it. My friend, stop here. I need to say something directly. The discomfort you feel right now is not a sign that this does not apply to you. It is a sign that it does. I know because I closed books at this exact page for years. I skipped past the chapter that named what I was doing. It cost me time I cannot get back. Do not do what I did. Stay here. Stay honest. Lesson 5. The car question. Nobody asks a car that takes you to work is not the same as a car that earns money. One serves your life. The other could build it. Most people never ask which one they have. That question sounds simple. It is not, because we attach so much to our vehicles. Identity, freedom, status. The car is personal in a way that a savings account is not. When someone comments on your car, you feel it differently than when they comment on your rent payment. That is not an accident. That is by design. But here is what the feeling costs you. The car loses value from the day you drive it away. This is not opinion. This is the number. In most cases, a car is worth less next year than it is today. You are paying monthly for something that is shrinking. That is the basic reality. And most car owners know this somewhere in the back of their mind and keep paying anyway. Warren Buffett bought his first stock at 11 years old, not because he was rich, because he understood something most adults never learn. Money placed into the right thing grows without you working more hours. Money placed into the wrong thing shrinks while you carry it. A car is not always the wrong thing. I want to be careful here. Transportation is real. Time has value. Getting to work is not a luxury. But the question most people skip is this. Is there anything this car could do that I am not asking it to do? Could it earn? Even occasionally? Could it carry something that pays? Could it be leased on a day you do not use it? Could it serve a second function that returns something? Most people never ask. Not because they are lazy, because they were never taught to see a possession as a potential tool. They were taught to own it. Use it. Be proud of it. I was taught the same thing. I owned cars I was proud of. I never once asked what they could do beyond carrying me. That was a question nobody had given me. Aisha rides her motorbike to work every morning. It saves her time. It saves her the cost of daily matatu fares. These are real benefits, and she knows it. But one afternoon, sitting outside the hospital between shifts, she watches a motorbike courier arrive at the main gate. He drops a package, picks up another, and leaves within 4 minutes. She watches him and for the first time, asks a question she has never asked before. Could her motorbike do that on a Saturday morning? She does not know the answer yet. She does not know the rates. She does not know the logistics. But she noticed the question. For a woman who has always seen her motorbike as a possession, that noticing is not a small thing. Look at one thing you own that has a motor, a space, or a skill attached to it. Not a plan, not a business, just one thing. Ask this question out loud. Is there 1 hour a week this thing could earn instead of just cost? Write the answer. Even if the answer is, I do not know yet, write that. The question is the action. Lesson 6. The income that earns while you sleep wealth is not about working harder. It is about building something that continues earning when your body is resting. I need to say something personal here, because this is the lesson that changed the question I was asking every morning. For years, I believed that the answer was more. More hours, more effort, more output. I was good at working hard. I had been doing it since I was young. And the belief underneath all of that was this: if I just push harder, the number will grow. That belief felt responsible. It felt correct. It felt like discipline. It was none of those things. Working harder is not a wealth strategy. It is a survival strategy. And there is a difference. I learned that at 45, sitting in a situation I had not planned for, realizing that every single coin I had ever earned required me to be present, awake, in a room, giving my energy. If I stopped, everything stopped. That is not an asset. That is a job, even if you love the job. Passive income is not a fantasy for wealthy people. It is the only mechanism that separates working for money from money working for you, and it does not have to be large to be real. Wangari Maathai did not start with wealth. She started with land and trees and something she could grow over time. She did not wait for the right conditions. She planted something small and let it become large. A plot of land rented to a farmer. A room sublet. A skill turned into a recording someone pays to watch. A small amount placed into something that compounds. These are not stories about other people. They are available in every city, at every income level, in different sizes. The question is not whether they exist. The question is whether you are looking for them. This is what changed everything for me, not a big investment. A single question I finally asked honestly: what do I already have that could work without me? That question found an answer I had been sitting on for years without knowing it. Aisha has not slept well since the night with the notebook. She keeps thinking about the land, her father's land. Outside the city, she has driven past it twice but never stopped. She does not know its exact size. She does not know its condition. She has never once thought of it as something that could earn. She picks up her phone on a Sunday evening, not to scroll, to search. She looks up rental agents near that area. She finds a name. She writes it on the same page as her list. She does not call that night. She almost does. But she saves the number. 6 weeks from this moment, she will make that call. She will learn that the land could earn a small, consistent monthly income if leased for farming. She will not sign anything immediately, but she will have asked the question. That is how it begins, not with a large decision, with one number saved in a phone. Identify one thing you already have: a skill, a space, a possession, a relationship that creates opportunity. Ask this: could this earn something without me being physically present every time? Write it down. Do not judge it. Do not calculate yet. Do not decide if it is realistic. Just name it. That naming is the door. These 6 lessons are not separate ideas. They are one system. An asset puts money in. A liability takes money out. Most of what we are sold are liabilities dressed as progress. Your home, your car, your possessions. They are only what the numbers say they are, not what the feeling says. And real wealth begins the moment something earns while you rest. You now have the map. The question is, will you use it? Learning something true is not the same as using it correctly. I know this because I learned these ideas and still found ways to get them wrong. 3 times, in 3 different ways. So before you close this video, I need to name the mistakes, not from a book, from experience. Mistake 1, learning without moving. What? You watch this video. You feel something shift. You understand the difference between an asset and a liability more clearly than you did an hour ago. Then you watch the next video, and the one after that. You keep learning. You keep feeling ready. You never actually do the one small thing. Why? Learning feels like progress. It produces a real sensation of movement, but your savings app does not know what you have watched. Your account does not respond to understanding. It responds to action, however small, however imperfect. Fix. Close this video and do one thing from the action steps before you sleep tonight. Not the biggest one, the smallest one. Write one list. Ask one question. Save one number in your phone. Movement at 1% is still movement. Waiting for the right moment is how years disappear. Mistake 2. Selling everything and starting over what? Some people hear this lesson and go too far in the other direction. They decide every liability must go immediately. They sell the car. They cancel everything. They make large, dramatic decisions in a short window of emotional clarity. Why? I made this mistake more than once. I would understand something clearly and then overreact to it, because the discomfort of having been wrong for so long felt urgent. But urgency built on guilt rarely builds well. Decisions made in an emotional rush often create new problems while solving old ones. Fix. Do not dismantle your life in a week. Identify one liability that has the highest cost and the lowest return. Address that one first. Give yourself a real timeline. Slow decisions made with clear eyes outlast fast decisions made with a burning chest. Mistake 3. Waiting until the numbers are right. What? You look at your income and you decide you will start building assets when you earn more, when the salary increases, when the debt is cleared. When conditions are better, you treat the future as the place where real financial life begins. Why? I watched this cost me everything I had just started to build. The conditions never become perfect. There is always a reason to wait, and while you wait, the people who started with less than you are building quietly, imperfectly, with what they had. Fix. Aisha does not own land in a prime location. She does not have capital to invest, but she has a plot she inherited and a phone number she saved on a Sunday evening. That is not nothing. That is a beginning. Start with what is already in your hands, not what you wish was there. 6 weeks have passed since Aisha sat at that kitchen table with a plain notebook and a list that told her the truth. She has not become wealthy. She has not started a business. She has not moved to a bigger apartment or paid off her motorbike or changed anything that someone looking from the outside would notice. But on a Thursday afternoon, between 2 shifts, she made a phone call. She called a rental agent about her father's land outside the city. She asked one question: could this land earn something? The agent told her yes. Leased for farming, it could bring in a small monthly income. Not large, but consistent, not nothing. She has not signed anything yet. She is still asking questions, still working 12-hour shifts, still watching her savings app with the same eyes. But the question is changed. She is no longer asking why she does not have enough. She is asking what she is already holding. She said something quietly, almost to herself, after that call. I always thought I needed more money to start. I did not know I was already holding something. That is all I wanted too. Not to be finished. Just to be moving in a direction I chose, not one I inherited. Of everything we talked about today, this is the one I want you to remember. Not the definitions, not the names. This, the thing that earns while you rest, is the thing that changes your life, not the hours you add, not the effort you increase, the thing that moves without you. I spent most of my adult life believing that the answer was more work, more time, more sacrifice. I was good at all of those things. I gave them everything I had, and I arrived at 45 with very little that worked without me. Everything I had built required my presence. The moment I stopped, it stopped. Nobody taught me the other way. That is not an excuse. It is just the truth of how most of us begin. We are taught to earn. We are never taught to build. We are taught to spend carefully. We are never taught to ask whether what we spend on is working for us or against us. I am not angry about that anymore, but I want it to be different for you. My friend, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not someone who missed the window. You are someone who was never given the right question, and today you were given it. Look at what you own. not with pride, not with shame, with honesty. Ask what each thing costs you. Ask what each thing earns you. Find the one thing already in your hands that could work without you. It does not have to be large. Aisha's answer was a small piece of land she had forgotten. My answer came from a skill I had been giving away for free. Yours is somewhere in the list you have not written yet. The door has been there the whole time. You just needed to know which one to look at. There are things already placed in your hands that you have not recognized yet. The land your father left. The skill you use without thinking. The hour before everyone wakes. These were not accidents, and the fact that you are asking this question now, today, is not an accident either. You're not behind. You're just now learning the rules of a game that nobody taught you, and the land your father left you, the skill in your hands, the hour before everyone wakes. Those were always there, waiting for you to see them. If today's lesson stayed with you, press subscribe. Not for me. I already made this. It is for you, so the next lesson finds you.